was 17 and then I got a job on a construction site. So I think I was clearing like 35k.
You definitely need some luck in it. There's not only skills.
I sometimes enjoy it, like what I'm doing now.
You should work more, you should work harder, watching lots of videos on YouTube.
Rebrand the business.
Close the company, close everything.
I should never have done this.
Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to the TED Talks. We are the new podcast which will be covering different fields about the creative and digital businesses, talking about entrepreneurship, the different topics in our life. My name is Edgar. This is the Tommy.
Hello.
Tommy, what do you want to say about our podcast?
It's going to be the best podcast that anybody's ever listened or watched, ever. The skills and experiences that we will share over the next hour or so will change your life. There's some things in here that have never been said by anybody before. If you want to be a billionaire, listen to this podcast. If you want to be a trillionaire, listen to this podcast. If you want to be the richest person in the world, listen to this podcast, because is this the best podcast in the world, Edgar?
This is the first best podcast in the world, and we hope you will enjoy it. So, and before you watch the episode, subscribe to our channels, put the like button.
Ding dong the bell.
So, hi Tom.
Hi Edgar.
So tell us a little about yourself.
My name is Tom. So I am your bestest friend in the whole world. Most handsome friend you have, and I am based in Lincoln with you. I run a creative agency that do web design, graphic design, social media, and you roped me into being on your podcast after many attempts, and I couldn't wiggle out of it, so here I am. And you, who are you?
My name is Edgar, and I'm the Ukrainian. Now live in the UK only a little more than 1 year. So I have a video production here. Me and Tommy, we are both based in Spark House. It's the business incubation, kind of kindergarten for businesses. That's how I call it. But yeah, we are both in creative businesses. We met, I guess, like half year ago.
I don't know. I want to say it was more, but like time goes so fast and feels really slow. I don't know. I feel like it's coming up to a year, but it probably isn't. Maybe like 8-9 months, but
Well, it will be in half year.
well, I guess so. But yeah, I wanted to start by kind of asking like about why, not only why, but how did you actually get into video? Because I know obviously we've had this conversation before, but never really in depth. So like, how did you actually start with video? Not necessarily how did you start the company, but you know, why are you in video?
So that was really weird because it's I never have intentions to make videos, and I was studying for business management. And I always thought that I want to have a business.
Was that in Ukraine?
It was in Russia. In Siberia. So I lived in Ukraine till 17-year-old. And then when it's started to be time to choose university, I remember I have a talk with my father on the phone. And he was like, "Oh, do you want to go to university in Siberia?
The weather's nice."
And he said, like, "I found university for you, aerospace university." And I like, "Yeah, really funny." But then it was actually the aerospace university. I moved there because my mother, she get married. And she started to live with stepfather. He started to live with us, kind of. And it was just
a bit of a weird setting.
Weird, because like I not get used to it. We don't really have great relationship with either of them, to be fair. And when my father proposed me to just move to him, I was like, yeah, sure. And when I thought I moved to him, I thought like, oh, I'm gonna be with his father and all of that stuff. But when I actually moved to Siberia, it's the Krasnoyarsk city. It's in the middle of Asia. It's happened that he was out all the time. So it was like at 17-year-old.
Yeah.
I went like in city. I don't know at all.
Yeah.
Study in university, and I arrived there in July, and university only starts in September.
Yeah.
So I like appear all by myself in
Yeah.
city. It was weird.
Yeah. What was he working as?
He have casinos and like gambling slot machines and
Okay.
stuff, like a couple ones. It was
Yeah,
legal back in the days.
Yeah.
So it was quite have like with no limits on money at that point.
Yeah.
So it was even worse for me.
Yeah.
Just like imagine 17-year-old kid appear like.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a job at like 17. So I left school on my first year of A-levels. So I was 17 and then I got a job on a construction site. And then in the evening I was delivering pizzas and
What you was doing in construction?
getting bullied.
No, really, like what work
I was
you
doing
there?
joinery, so like woodwork, so like putting roofs on,
Okay.
like the interior walls of houses, putting doors on, garage doors. It was mainly a lot of roofs, not like the tiling, but you know,
Yeah.
like the timber structure, like the trusses, which
Yeah,
are the
yeah.
triangles. That I'm getting bullied because I'm what I found out like very quickly, like even at a young age, was that I'm nowhere near like masculine enough to be anywhere near a building site. My hands were always dry. That was it was not. So I figured out it was really good for me actually, because I figured out actually like I can't do that kind of job, and that's what like prompted me to go to university. But what I was sort of getting at is I had like way more money than I needed at that age because I was working 2 full-time jobs. It was all wasted, like saving
For how
none
long?
of it.
How long you was working there?
Probably just short of 2 years. But
2 years in construction.
Yeah, and delivering pizzas. So I think I was clearing like 35k at 17. It was all like just spent on beer and takeaways.
Probably hard to have a business now, yeah, because you don't make any close to that.
Yeah, not really, because I don't really like I don't take a lot of money out of the business, but I don't really need to either. So it's a weird one, but I think I know what it's kind of like to just waste money and not really do anything with it that kind
What
of
about
progresses.
time you waste there?
Time? No, not really, because it was a sort of a really weird way of going about. Like, you know, this is kind of my early story, I guess, of starting a business, but the lessons I learned then prompted me to, you know, actually do something with my life. So I left school like 17 because I was just super depressed. So I went to private school, and obviously parents were paying for me to go to school, but I was literally just never
It's
going
like
to classes.
Really, like, you know, this sounds really weird.
There's a counseling
You
session.
work on like the construction and delivering pizza, but you went there straight up the private school.
Yeah, no, it was such a big change. I think I'd never.
Because I was opposite. So this is like
Yeah.
interesting because you like from environment where basically like rich kids,
Yeah.
everything is fine. You
Yeah.
went in like hard place with like
Yeah.
strong people.
Yeah.
And I have opposite. So I was
Yeah.
like live in the hood because my mother have no money.
Yeah.
Have nothing.
Yeah.
Like we live in like 18 square meter flat
Yeah.
to me and her. And that's all we have. And then I moved to like opposite conditions.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah, I guess. I think, it was really weird because obviously I'd gone, it was like really clear straight away that kind of I didn't really fit in. I'm not saying, you know,
in school
everyone
or in construction.
in construction, you know, obviously there's a construction stereotype where, you know, it's just guys who, you know, didn't really do well in school and have just gone onto the building site. Not everyone was like that. There were definitely a few. There were some really nice people there, but even then I kind of didn't really fit in because like school I did really, really well without trying. So I've always had a good brain and I wasn't really using it at all. So I realized almost straight away, like these people are kind of not really my kind of people. I'm not doing a job that's actually going to suit me. And that gave me a lot of drive because by leaving school at 17 was kind of the years where, you know, it kind of counted to go to university. But I didn't really know if I wanted to go to university or not because I was just like major stressed and didn't know what I wanted to do in my life. But then it kind of gave me the time to kind of reflect. So it wasn't a waste of time, but it gave me that time to reflect and think actually I still didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew it was like something that was going to make me mentally push myself. So then I went back to college in Lincoln. I did my A levels there, dropped the construction job. I carried on delivering pizzas because I really like pizza. I got
Do you
so
deliver it to
fat,
yourself?
man.
Do you
70
send it to
kg.
edit to the video?
I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think this can be on the internet.
Then you lie.
Just blackmail me.
Yeah.
I'll see if I have any photos that like,
Just
because the
put
one I
any-
have was like a weight loss. So I went from like 70 kg, which is like 10, 11 stone, to like 110, which in like 18 months. That was when I was doing the construction job where you're walking all day, but I was eating so much pizza. It just got so big.
Do you still like pizza?
Yeah, pizza's my favorite food, 100%. Yeah, I need to probably go on a diet again. I've been thinking more and more about that recently. Well, I ordered a bike to get to work because the parking's pretty
Did you
bad.
ride it already?
No, I think I got scammed online. So I ordered one from like a kind of dodgy website, and it said it'd be here like a week ago. Because I ordered like one that had been in the shop as like the demonstrator, like people can kind of test it. So it was like half price, and it's not here.
Okay. I'm sorry about that.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, you can walk still.
I drive.
So, how you end up from the working in the construction into design creative agency?
Kind of a weird story, I guess. So after I finished at college, I went to university and did law, which I kind of enjoyed. I enjoyed like the learning, but I still wasn't too sure if I wanted to do it as a job or not. Didn't go to many classes in my first year, so I was mainly just sitting at home playing computer games. And the main one I played was Rocket League, which is like kind of football with cars. I was insane because I'd like spend 6-7 hours a day on it. The friend that I used to play that with, so we played like doubles. So there was two of us in a team, and we were like the top rank you could possibly be. We were in like the top 0.3% of global players. Like it was, I should have done that as a job.
You should have done Twitch long time ago.
Yeah,
Just skip the university and all of that construction.
yeah,
Just get yourself computer,
yeah.
internet.
Yeah, I play games like way too much. I actually really miss that now though. Now that I'm working all the time, like I'm working, like mornings, I'm working evenings, I'm working like on the weekends. I just wish that I could kind of just go back to being a vegetable, just
Yeah, it
trapped
is
away
nice.
in a room.
Yeah.
Um,
I always think like the perfect for me, like I don't need anything. I need just like
just
TV,
an empty room and a PlayStation.
yeah, PS5,
Yeah.
and just like, yeah, and somebody who can deliver me pizza.
Don't ask me because I'll eat it on the way. But yeah, the friend I had when we played Rocket League together, so he was a graphic designer, a really, really good graphic designer. So he didn't do graphic design at uni, he did like fine art, but then was really interested in, he kind of realized it was probably a mistake. Like he was a great artist, but he really enjoyed making graphics. We joined a team. So we got invited to join a team. I can't remember what it was called at the time. We rebranded a Rocket League team together. So like we joined another community. So we joined a community, did the logo. We joined another community after that, but then we did like the whole thing. So it was like merch, it was t-shirts, it was hoodies, it was like the logo, social media things, like announcement posts, stuff like that. And then after we did that, I was looking at like, holy shit, like we should charge money for this because we just did it for free because we were nerds. And then it was after that, I was like, he was called Jamie. And I was like, Jamie, what about if I go out, like, find clients? Because I had like, even like my first year of uni, I was using LinkedIn a lot. I think I had like 8,000 lawyers on LinkedIn, like at the end of my first year of uni. Like I was on it all the time. Because again, I'd gone to uni late, like compared to everyone else, like 2-3 years out, well, like when I joined. So yeah, I was 21 when I started uni. Everyone else was kind of 18 in my class. So I didn't really have anything in common with them. So I was actually kind of, although I wasn't like a model student. Like I wasn't wasting time.
No, it wasn't the model. That's for sure.
What do you mean?
I mean, you because you was eating pizza.
I'd actually lost the weight by the time I went to uni. I put it on after. I had a tough couple of lockdowns. So got like, because I was older than people, I kind of like actually worked on trying to progress the career because I knew I was going to get the grades without really trying at uni because it was kind of one skill that you needed to learn. And they taught us that in the first couple of weeks, and I don't think anyone else really noticed. So there was a module where they just taught you how to do legal research. And then everyone else would go to the classes and I'd get better grades than them because I paid attention to one module, which is how to find the answer to any question without knowing the answer, just using like legal databases and general resources. So I realized actually if I can do this really well, I don't need to go to any classes to learn the law because I can just find it out to write the coursework. And it worked. And that's kind of what I did my whole way through uni. But as part of that, when I realized, okay, I can get the grades, then it was, well, what about the connection? So I was using LinkedIn there. And then the crossover to that was that I spoke with Jamie, who was the sort of graphic design friend I had. And I said, look, if I go out and I find work like, small law firms or people around law or even lawyers who want like personal branding, if I go out and find these people and you do the work, I do the kind of emailing and the client management, could we split it 50-50? And he was like, yeah, sure. Which was still a good deal for him because, he just I think he just finished uni at that point. So it was some money for him because he was working like at Tesco's or something as well. And we did that. So we did like, one of the first ones we did was like a legal recruitment company. I think they paid us something like £600 for like logo, social media banners, email banners, some other stuff. Not crazy amounts. I felt like I'd got like £300 for doing nothing. And as a student, £300 just kind of out of nowhere it's a lot, especially when, because
It's a lot of pizza.
It's a lot of pizza. I didn't need pizza because I was working at Subway. So I got free Subway all the time. Actually, I got a lot of free food. So I was on the street that was kind of like a takeaway street, and there was like 6 takeaways on there. So I worked in Subway. There was a Chinese fish and chip shop, kebab shop, pizza place, an Italian restaurant, and a Taco Bell. And we used to give each other free food, like the staff. So I could go and get free food anytime, anywhere, apart from between 5 and 7 a.m. in the morning when the kebab shop closed and then before Subway opened. So another fun fact. But I didn't actually put on any weight that year of uni. But yeah.
How come?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Try to eat healthier stuff?
No,
or?
I was just eating crap, but like less of it, I guess.
Well, I guess Subway is a little more healthier.
Yeah, Subway.
Than a pizza.
Yeah, I ate like a lot of that. I still like Subway, to be honest. I worked there for, a long time, years and years, like probably 4 years total.
So you like work 2 years delivering pizza.
Yeah.
And 4 years in Subway.
Yep.
And then you're like, I'm gonna have a creative agency.
No, so like I continued. So after that first, like, getting the first client, which was a legal recruitment company, I carried it on throughout uni. I started playing less video games, not much less, but less. And then in that time, I'd go and find clients and then bring them to Jamie. We did maybe 2 or 3 jobs together. And then he was like, actually, this isn't for me. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't want a business. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, I think I do. So yeah, I just carried it on my own. I'd find like, I'd do a tiny bit of the work and then get freelancers to do it because I didn't have the time. Because I was still working at Subway, still had uni.
You was able to do like some graphic design yourself?
Yeah, but I learned a lot after, so only really basic. So I was doing like, like simple stuff like, email banners and stuff like that. To be honest, I still like the graphic design that I do now because I don't get involved in all of it. I can't draw, so I can't really illustrate at all. So I don't do like illustrations. I don't do logos like personally. So still kind of the stuff that I do now, but I didn't know how to make websites, so that would come later. But I'd find freelancers to do it. So some would be like direct freelancers that I met like through uni who were already freelancers.
It was when you were studying as a lawyer.
Yeah, so still studying. But so I went to Sheffield Hallam obviously in Sheffield. They had like a sort of businessy entrepreneurs kind of centre, a bit like Spark House, kind of, but it's just like co-working space. So you turn up there, they have loads of Macs, you log in with your student ID, you can work from there. They have like business support, some funding. It's really, really good. That kind of put me in the environment where I was meeting people, other freelancers. So I used a couple of them. Others came from places like, Upwork, Fiverr. There was another one at the time that was kind of around before COVID. I can't remember what it was called, but it disappeared. And then I was meeting people on there. One of them actually like still works for the agency now. So he works like 3 days a week, who I met that way. Like he does all our illustration, logos, anything kind of arty he handles, which was good. And then I kind of worked to build up enough like retainer work so that when I finished my course, I could kind of walk into the job. But obviously COVID happened, work stopped coming in, and I was still like, okay, now I'm ready to do this full time. And it was just horrible. Like barely got any leads at all. It took ages and ages. And then probably the worst decision I made was to move to Lincoln, because I knew loads of people in Sheffield. I was going to events in Sheffield. I was around like a support network in Sheffield, but I wanted to be closer to my family, and they live here. So I moved back, but then like nobody knew who I was. And Lincoln is like, it's a great business community, but it's a really tight knit one. So like everybody knows everybody. And then it's like, if I'm coming here to sell creative services, but there's like, it's a really small city. There's 8 other agencies. There's 20 other freelancers. Why would anybody use us at all? Because our portfolio was really small. We had like no testimonials. And yeah, everybody trusted someone else. So it took a good like 6 to 12 months before I was kind of felt like I was part of that community and actually started getting work from other people. Because, why would they have chosen us? Apart from the fact we were cheaper, because we didn't have any work and we really needed it. Because I'm ugly. What did you say? Cuddly, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that, the fact I was around for long enough and kind of wasn't selling to people, just kind of talking to people, that paid off. And I think that's kind of the reputation now, is that, first off, I'm helpful. I'm not actively trying to sell. And to be honest, I think when kind of talking to customers, I'm more looking for a reason to say, no, we're not the right agency, to make sure that when we do get a client, that we're able to, properly help them, but also keep them. Because I think unless we can hold on to clients that are the right clients for us for a long period of time, we're not going to grow. And the only way would be to kind of force growth, like, running loads of ads, saying yes to everything, losing most of the work, but, getting project work in like quickly and churning it out is not.
How do websites get there?
I was just playing around with them for years before I offered it as a service, because I saw it as such a risk. Because I think it is a risk, to be honest, because like websites are full of data, and if that data leaks out, like let's say it gets hacked because there's shitty security on it, it's not a good position to be in. So I was really scared for a long time to offer websites. But I spent so to start off, when I didn't know anything about websites, I started using Wix, and like Squarespace, and just the things that people get into when they start. I thought, okay, I know how to kind of do it now. Let's move on to WordPress. But WordPress took so long to learn how to use. So yeah, it was probably a couple of years after I could kind of make websites that I started offering them as a service. And to be honest, it was kind of what saved the company, because when I moved back to Lincoln, I was so focused on getting retainer work that everything was about like, oh, we'll do graphic design for you for £300-400 a month. We'll do social media for £300-400 a month. I'll come and shine your shoes for £350 a month. There was no trust there with people, because they didn't know who I was. So why would you then commit to pay somebody £400 a month? Kind of forever, obviously not contracting people in, but then, when people are making that decision, they're not thinking, could I afford it for 3 months? They're like, could I do this all the time? And when you don't really know or trust me, the answer is definitely no. So websites saved us, because that, I think we got like I think it was a £4,000 web project in. And
so what was the first project in?
Sorry?
It was the first website?
It wasn't the
Somebody
first website.
ordered.
It was the first website in Lincoln.
Okay.
And it was the project that saved us because the contract was around sort of £8,000. It was for a bit of content for a year, and it was for a website, and we put that through a grant. So I think the company got 60% of that back. So it wasn't a huge financial commitment for them, but it was so much money when, we really, really needed it. So yeah, without offering the kind of one-off services where, obviously they need to trust you enough to part with that kind of money, obviously, but there was no kind of promise of a commitment from someone really, because, they paid you a one-off. They got a good deal on it because they got 60% back. But then it was a perfect opportunity for us to kind of prove ourselves locally because everyone kind of knew the company, which then was like, it was definitely like a jump start. Like we got ahead because then we had somebody that most people knew who could give us like a good kind of recommendation.
What was the first website that you do and get money for? How's that happen?
It was just someone my dad knows who like sold car parts. So he kind of retired from working in a place that sold car parts, but then he wanted to like sell secondhand ones. So it was just setting up. The first ever one was, I think it was on like Wix or Squarespace or something. It was just like really simple. To be honest, I think it's still there somewhere.
How does that happen? Like your father call his friend and say hey.
He basically, I think, like
my son can do website for you.
Yeah. Have you seen that meme where it's about websites? I think it did the rounds on LinkedIn.
I'm not seeing any meme about websites.
But it's basically a text message, and it's like, hi son, my friend wants a website. I told him £500, and then he replies something like, how big's the site? And then the dad replies, normal screen size. It's basically something like that.
Excited about it or scared or?
Kind of excited, I think, because, with the like managed systems, they're so locked down. Like, because the reservations I had were like, WordPress is so complicated and doesn't mean anything. Because WordPress is kind of just the framework, and you can add whatever you want to do on top of that it kind of means nothing. And I was really concerned about security then, because I sort of understood that actually I don't know how to make these sites secure. And that would take ages before, I was confident that I did. But because Wix is like so locked down and you can't really do anything to it, there was nothing to really like break. So yeah, just kind of excited about it, and it gave me like the opportunity to kind of experiment, and yeah, play around. And there was kind of no pressure because it was like a family friend. I think they paid like £500-600.
They was happy.
Yeah.
Did they ask you to change something or?
I can't remember, but he was happy with it.
That's probably not really care.
Yeah. Took the money and ran.
Nice.
So what about you? Like, how did you start the business?
So I was always study for I think that I want a business.
Yeah. I was a bit the same actually as a kid. Like I always thought I wanted to work for myself.
Yeah, I couple years ago find my note what I made in school, what people write, what I want to do in future.
Potato farm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was actually I want to have a business and stuff, and I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I read it and it was somewhere really deeply inside.
Yeah.
And after when I was working in university, I was thinking about different stuff what I want to do. By that time, when I was close to finish university, the things with my dad went really wrong. So he basically lost everything in really quickly, because the gambling and casinos, they start to be illegal. They have to close down everything.
Right.
He almost ended up in jail at some point.
Right.
It's everything changed in less than a year. It's he was under investigation about a year probably, and all this time he was paying rent and salaries for everyone, because he have 200 people working on him.
Right.
And it's every month salary, and you can't close company because it's under investigation. You can't fire no one, you can't do anything.
Right. Okay.
But you're paying. for everything. So we have to like in 1 year like sell cars, flats, everything. It was last year's in university, and I decided it will be a good idea to bring cars from Europe
Right.
to Siberia.
Okay. With some snow chains.
Yeah, I actually have one. So I sold father's car.
Yeah.
He have Toyota Tundra.
Okay. Big one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I went to Germany. Basically, I read in Google just like stuff, how to like custom car, how to like knowing
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I found the car on like internet,
Yeah.
bought it, and it was like everything went so smoothly.
Yeah.
Like I just bought the car, paid the customs, like all the documents remotely, went from Germany on ferry to Finland, from Finland drive all the way like to Siberia
How
by
much
car.
is that? Like,
It's like
Hey.
3,000 kilometers, so 48 hours. It was like I have a friend who helped me. So I bought him a ticket.
yeah.
And on the way, like when I get to Russia, he fly to closest city. So I pick him up and we just drive.
Jeez.
So it's like, 40 hours.
What car was it?
It was BMW 320.
Okay.
So it's 2009.
Yeah. Was
So
it
yeah,
diesel or
No, it was petrol. It was really nice one.
it
It's
cost
like,
you more in petrol than than the profit?
No, it was like really nice.
Yeah.
And when I get to like Siberia and I put it for sale,
Yeah.
I sold it in like less than 2 weeks,
Right.
and I make probably like 15,000 pounds from
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
No, that's probably too much. In US dollars, so it's less, about 10,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So then it was like, and I was in university, and
Yeah.
everyone just was studying, and just like the work they was taking, it was like retails or something, summer jobs, like temporary jobs.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm like in something.
Yeah.
I found something.
Yeah.
So I started doing this, and I bring like 3 cars, I think, like
Okay.
this. So it was Volkswagen, Mercedes. I
Yeah.
bring 1 car for my friend for the 911 one,
Right.
Czech Republic.
Yeah.
It was, I think I make much less money on other ones,
Yeah.
but it started to be like consistent.
Yeah.
And
And then how did you go from there then to? Because I know obviously you
So-
worked at
so,
BMW.
I have a BMW car
Yeah.
for myself,
Which
and
one?
325.
Okay.
So 2009.
Yeah.
It's really nice. I really like
Yeah.
that one. Just, I don't know, something with BMW. It was
Yeah.
before.
Nice shape.
One of my friends called me and say like, oh, do you like want to work for like, not like a driver, but like assistant for some guys from Moscow?
Yeah.
I like, yeah, sure. They need someone who knows city well, who know everything,
Yeah.
and who have like the requirement he should have BMW. Weird, but okay, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Because they was like, don't know anyone. They have agency of events and
Yeah.
stuff, and they like weird request.
Yeah.
And I like, yeah, fine. And I meet this guys in airport, and they appeared there like from BMW group,
Right.
and they was making events in Siberia.
Okay.
I was working for them 3 weeks, 21 days, every day, like from
Yeah.
6 morning, like till late evening, just driving them around. I was doing my job really well because of my education, business management, it was easier to talk to people. I was like polite. I will know
Yeah.
stuff. I like have no problem with like payments and stuff.
Yeah.
Plus I help them sometimes with my own money.
Right.
Kind of like they need to pay like, because they have only like card
Yeah.
to pay on,
Yeah.
or like account, or like from bank account, and a lot of stuff was only cash available.
Okay.
And they were saying like, shit, like can't find the cash. And I
Yeah.
like, I have some.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
was weird. But after that, they tell me like, do you want to like, we want to like make these events. We're doing like 20 more
Yeah.
in all the country. Do you want to go with us?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Driving with them in different cities, helping with the events. And then after a year, probably, they say they have permanent position. So it was PR department, and it was connected to BMW driving school. Yeah, and it was going like this really good, but till the Crimea happened
Yeah.
in 2014, after Russia invaded Ukraine, they just cancel all events, all marketing budget, everything
Okay.
from Russia because of the sanctions, because of the
Yeah.
company politics. They was like,
Yeah.
sorry guys, bye. We not gonna do any more events.
Yeah. Okay. So what did you do after that?
So after that, because we was working a lot of with influencers, with TV hosts, who because we're making presentations and preparing cars, it was a lot of
Yeah.
guys who was filming commercials, the other stuff for YouTube. I thought that it will be nice to like start to work on other side. So I went because I saw a position in local TV show about cars,
Yeah.
and I thought, oh, I'm going to do this now.
Yeah.
Still with cars.
Yeah.
It was easy to get a job there. My friend, the girl, she was working there, and she helped me. Plus, the task was write an article for a magazine,
Okay.
and it was like the future of electric cars in Siberia.
Right. Yeah.
Just
Electric
was,
cars aren't going to Siberia. They're too cold for the batteries.
well, it's not really, but yeah, I write a good one, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I passed the test and they printed after, so I guess it was
Right.
fine. And I start work there, and there I think start all the stuff with video,
Right.
because we was a lot of time filming, a lot of time it was traveling and filming when we have like invitation for car plant in
Yeah.
like Czech Republic or in Finland, and I have to assist the operator who was filming everything,
Yeah.
because it's hard for one
One
person
person
to
with
do
the-
it.
the
So I
kit.
have to like learn a little
Yeah.
bits, like how to film, how to like work with equipment, and then
Yeah.
the editor, I was kind of seeing how he working and tried to film and record myself so he can use it.
Yeah.
It was like really early start from it.
Yeah.
But I was worked there probably like half year, maybe like a little more, something
Got
between.
a video clip in the podcast of
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, sure.
Hello.
Молодец, отлично.
Вот, сейчас я прошел практически идеально этот поворот. Все благодаря тому, что я смотрел именно на ворота, куда мне нужно проехать, на выходе.
It was good for that time because it was time when Russia was using like, not only Russia, it's like everyone was using like big cameras, like old ones.
Yeah.
And we have already like Canon 5D Mark II, really
Right.
fancy one, and
Yeah.
everyone was like looking at like what these guys have, like.
Yeah.
And the company when I was working, they was really heavy investing in equipment all the
Right.
time, and we
Yeah.
have like latest tech, like latest lenses, everything, and we was like just feel really good.
Yeah.
We do actually like then connections to BMW helped me like do some projects for them,
Right.
because on the side it was like make a little film about the driving
Yeah.
school and all of it, and it was like really fun. I lost the job in the TV stuff
Yeah.
because they closed the program,
Yeah.
because kind of same reasons. The marketing budgets are gone. It was their main revenue
Yeah.
to promote cars, promote dealership. They will
Yeah.
start to like just sales drop in, and they just say like, guys, we're the boss. He called us and he say like, I literally better spend money on vacation for summer than
Yeah.
sponsor you for next month.
Yeah.
Like, sorry.
Right.
And after that, I have small attempts in a business there in Siberia. I have a little ice cream shop,
Right.
and I was get to work with kind of like a Luna Park, like with attractions,
Okay. Yeah.
small one, kids
Yeah.
one, and I put my ice cream shop there.
Right.
And it was probably the first like business
Yeah.
thing, like on my own,
And then you did the butcher.
because it was like sales, and I was like ordering sales and ice cream and
Yeah.
cotton candy, and it was like insane amount of like the revenue was so huge. It was not making a lot, but
Yeah.
in compare like how much I spend on it, it was a lot.
Yeah.
'Cause the profit was like 1,000% a month.
Yeah.
And like people was literally buying everything. like
Yeah.
water, like Coca-Cola, ice creams,
Yeah.
like cotton candy, popcorn, like yeah, all the small stuff. But then it just started to be hard to live in Russia because of the pressure, because it started to be like you are not welcome there anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's especially with my passport, Ukrainian one, I wasn't get any support from like friends or
Yeah.
something, and it was just getting worse and worse and worse. Yeah, just decide to go back to Odessa,
Right.
and there I was try to find the work at first for like 2-3 months,
Well, just a normal job.
normal job,
Yeah.
yeah, just like in sales anywhere,
Yeah.
because I was working in BMW, I was working there and there, but it's appear like jobs I'm applying, my qualification was too high, so I was like overeducated and
Yeah.
underpaid.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I work in sales, selling candies to like retailers.
Right.
It was horrible. It was horrible. I was working from 7 morning to 7 evening with driving my own car, no refund for it, nothing. The tracker, what they was given, count only from customer to customer route. So you
Right.
get like half money from the gas.
Okay.
If you not make a plan for sales, you get like $100 a month,
Right.
probably 200. It's a salary.
So where does the video come back in?
After that, I decided that I'm gonna have my own business, and I didn't
Yeah.
know what to do.
Yeah.
And I was speaking with my stepfather, and he was working in company in Food Works, I think, the American one.
Okay.
And he was selling like meat to restaurant and products
Yeah.
and stuff. And he told me like there's a really good beef in Ukraine,
Yeah.
and there's no like good steaks in
Yeah.
restaurants. I can teach you how to butcher the meat and stuff.
This is the most random one.
I was thought like, why not?
Yeah.
Because I was think like this is like a gap in the market, like like this in this inspiring videos, like
Yeah.
you see like, yeah, I saw the gap in the market. Yeah, it was gap in the market,
Yeah,
but
but
it's
your
appeared that
house
nobody
stinks.
needed. That's why it was a gap in the market.
Yeah.
It was really cool because the steaks were great. I was eating good.
Yeah.
And at some point I have like 14 restaurants where I was delivering the steaks.
Yeah.
And I was like have vacuum machine, pack them like 250 grams each, like
Yeah.
it was really nice. 3 kinds of steaks, really consistent. And then what happened where I was buying meat, the plant,
Yeah.
they start to raise prices.
Right.
And at some point they made it like for 3 times in like
Yeah.
3 months.
Right.
And I just start to lose customers.
Yeah.
But the way how the plant work, you have to order 50 kilos each time.
Right.
So to support
Yeah. Yeah.
the other customers, I have to still get the meat.
Yeah.
And I just like
lose money.
just lose money because I have
Yeah.
a lot of meat. I start to like panically, like, like in panic, sell it to friends, like give it
Yeah.
out, like
Yeah.
everything. It's just getting worse and worse. And
Yeah.
then like start to loan money to pay the bills for the meat, what was not
And I
selling.
pay the rent in in steak.
So it was, yeah. And I just like, at some point I was like, this is enough. This is
Yeah.
like not gonna end well.
Yeah.
So I just stop it,
Yeah.
sell the rest to like friends mostly, because the restaurants, I just tell them I'm not gonna do it anymore because I
Yeah.
can't. And then I decide like I know how to make a videos,
Yeah.
and I was like watching lots of videos on YouTube,
Yeah.
like tutorials and stuff. I loaned some more money from my stepfather and bought a camera. It was like Sony A6000,
Okay.
6500, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a small camera, 4K, and I just start to ask like friends, like, "Oh, can I film something for you? Can I film something for
Yeah.
you?" And it was like really like funny amount of money. It was like
Yeah.
$50, like 100 for
Yeah.
some like music video or like wedding or some
Yeah.
little promotional. But it started to be a lot of it because the price is cheap. And just start to get more and more and more orders, like bigger works.
Yeah.
Work with different like influencers in Odessa who was just hiring us for
So how long were you working on it before you went back to Russia?
about 2 years, I think.
Okay. You went to Moscow.
So yeah, we get decent skills when we thought we was like one of the best in Odessa. We was thinking like we're
Yeah.
doing it like better than everyone else, faster than everyone else, really creative, really have a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
And then it was 2018, I think, when the football championship was in
The
Moscow.
World Cup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the World Cup. My friend invited me to just visit. And I was like, tell him I'm never going back to Russia. Like,
Yeah.
and he said like, yeah, just like it's like different.
Yeah.
And I went there for like a couple weeks because
Yeah.
he was telling me like, oh, we have like some video project. We can like just pay you. So it will be like, you spend
Yeah.
money on travel and we kind of like give you back for travel.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
free trip.
Yeah.
I like, yeah, okay, fine. And I went there and yeah, it was just like drinking, having fun at some evening. And they was like, let's make the video production. Let's just make, because it's like so many clients in Moscow, everything in probably Eastern Europe
Yeah.
at that point, because all
Yeah.
companies based there, they have budgets, they have like a lot of projects and
Yeah.
like really high demand.
Yeah.
And I start to travel to Moscow, going back to Odessa, live in 2 cities. We make a company, call it the production.
Right.
Like he was looking for production.
Yeah.
We are production. Some
Yeah.
kind of like silly idea.
Yeah.
And we was renting flat for 3 guys.
Right.
And that was horrible. For me,
But it
because I was
stinks.
like,
At least you didn't have all the
Have-
meat in the
have-
house.
yeah, well, I have kind of like 2 meat bags in the house living with me. It was just like, yeah, everyone, like somebody bring a girl, somebody smoking, like, you know, in the kitchen and you
Yeah.
can't sleep. And
Yeah.
it's like 24 hours, something happened, noise, everything. It's
Yeah.
like a flat. It's not a house.
Yeah.
And then it started to be a problem with money for us,
Right.
between us.
Yeah.
It was 3 of us at the beginning. And the problem was that some of the guys was not really understand what happening when you have a business.
Yeah.
So for example, when we earning like 2,000,
Yeah.
he thought like
You
his
can
share
spend.
is like 700.
Yeah.
And we tell him, no, we have expenses. We like rent equipment, we pay for
Yeah.
this and this. And
Yeah.
he was like, you scamming me. He was like, bro, no, look. And he was
Yeah.
like sitting smoking and like, you just try to like, you think you're smarter than me. You just try to like overtalk me, like writing some numbers, what I don't understand. Like he said, I know we do this project. I should have at least like this amount.
Yeah.
And we're like, no, there's like taxes, there's like this expenses. We like paying for a flat, we're paying for
Yeah.
this, like from
Yeah.
all that money. And he just like, give me my share and I'm leaving. so, so it's left just me and the second
Yeah.
guy. And right at that point, we get like a first huge project,
Right.
which was cost probably about like £15,000.
Right.
It was for national cell phone company.
Okay.
And it was series of videos, like 4 commercial videos,
Yeah.
like really, like it was never done anything like that before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they prepaid us. We started to make it, and because it left 2 of us, it was not possible to rent the flat
Yeah.
with 2 of us, and we kind of don't really want it because
Yeah.
it was very expensive because it was in center of the Moscow.
Yeah.
So we rent a house out of the Moscow.
Yeah.
We rent a huge house, and it started to be like a hub
Yeah.
for like, I don't know, it was like a student house because it was like just parties, because it was no problem parties there because you're
Yeah.
like
In the middle of
upstairs,
nowhere.
don't hear anyone
Yeah, yeah.
if you want to sleep. And
Yeah.
the downstairs, like huge hall, like open kitchen, everything.
Yeah.
So it was like parties there, everything. And we just start to invite like different creative people, like DPs, directors, just
Yeah.
hanging out with them, producers. And it was just constant, like 5 times a week was somebody like coming to our house, like bringing drinks. We was not even buying alcohol because people was just bring it in because we have a house. Like, and we was doing like the work, and
Yeah.
because it just was two of us, and we like on alcohol and everything, cannot sleep and just
Yeah.
work, like editing, switching each other, like constant work. And we start to get like more and more projects. And at some point it was like so much cash flow
Yeah.
that our mistake was is stop count like our expenses.
Right.
So we like
Just buying
for like
stuff.
3-4 months, it's not even buying. We were like, we get the car, we get the Jaguar.
Yeah. And you get the F-Type,
Yeah.
5 liter.
No, we get XF. It
Right.
was 2 liter, but it's still like we like went to look on a car and we was thinking like we need to make some impression.
Yeah.
So we thought like it will be nice to go on meetings on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, you just start to spend so much money like on everything, and rent of house huge. We have the car payment, like all the bills. At some point happened that we just lost the biggest client who was making like 70% of our revenue,
Yeah.
because we was thinking that we're doing so much work that we are so valuable for them,
Yeah.
and we start to raise the price because they was agreeing on everything, like, you know,
Yeah.
we would say like, oh, this is too cheap, like let's rise up a little more, and they was like,
They
yeah,
keep saying, yeah.
fine, and then they say like, no, we go with other production,
Yeah.
and we're like, what? And we was like, oh, we're gonna be fine. We still have like some clients, we're doing some work.
Yeah.
And then what happened? Like it was probably same month,
Yeah.
and we was just driving to McDonald's after some party
Yeah.
early in the morning, and we get crashed in a car. Like some guy just drive into us on a bus, break the
Yeah.
car, and we appear like we have no car. We live in a house out of the city. We have no revenue.
So things are going well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
best time in life, and it just like less than in a month we just like have no money at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we just split, like rent
Yeah.
smaller, cheaper homes for each other, like flats
Yeah.
from each other, and just start to like go back to cheap projects again.
Yeah.
And when that happened, I think that was just before COVID.
Okay.
So it was fucked, but still okay, because we still make some, because when we cut expenses,
Yeah.
things start to be like fine. We start to have enough
Yeah.
because we don't have like house, car, everything.
Yeah.
And COVID start.
And then just everything stops, or
No, actually, we get some new clients who start to want like for like web conference,
Yeah.
for some other stuff, the video,
Yeah.
and we get like big demand, not like really simple work,
yeah.
but it was a lot, and we
Yeah.
have zero expenses on everything
Yeah.
because most of the time we don't even need to drive anywhere,
Yeah. Yeah.
and just editing work. So the COVID was kind of
Helped.
not helped, because we was not be able to make in savings or grow, but
Yeah.
it was just you sitting at home, was
Yeah.
playing like PlayStation, doing some simple work,
Yeah.
and just like all this time just passed through. So it's how I end up in video. So that's
Yeah.
like by accident. I never have intentions to it. I never studied, and I was always use some other artists to make the things done, and I was learning from them, from directors, working with DPs,
Yeah.
how to do stuff, how to set up the lights, what equipment we should use, how to manage the project. And it was because they was doing this work much better than I
Yeah.
was understand how much it costs and how we can make it, but
Yeah.
I still hire them because they doing it better, because I
Yeah.
can do it. And it was kind of more interesting for me to give to the people who like actually have passion for it,
Yeah.
to do this work. And for me, just like a business, I like it. It's like, it's fun. The
Yeah.
equipment is fun. The work and stuff is fun.
Yeah.
And I think in generally,
You just-
when you're choosing like creative business, it's not like regular business. It's like
Yeah.
whole different lifestyle,
yeah.
because its sales are different, like
Yeah.
process is different. You can afford not to work from 9 to 5.
Yeah.
It's just like all the way. It's like whole different lifestyle, and I
Yeah.
think that's what I liking about it.
Yeah. And it suits you.
What do you think the hardest thing to start a business? What it was for you?
I don't know. I found it really difficult to just kind of generate leads, to be honest, for a long time. I also just struggled kind of mentally to, because when you're working on something and you start off and you realize like really quickly kind of nobody cares, like get a real job, like for you, go work on the farm. So I think it was just a combination of that, because like the mentals and like generating leads, because you're working on it, kind of from first thing in the morning till late in the evening every day. And then at some point, I think when you're really struggling, you just like look at yourself and you're like, why did I do this? Like, it's not going to work. So I think there was a period of, probably for me, it was maybe 3 months where I was like, I fucked up. I should never have done this. And that was really difficult, because I kind of didn't want to admit it to myself that it was a terrible idea. And I think I should have closed the business down, because I completely ran out of cash. Just had like no leads. Was like losing so much money. Like not so much, not millions.
How you get in debt?
Because I still had like home rent to pay for.
Okay.
I still had to buy food.
Yeah, but it's
Paid
like
off restaurant.
personal debts.
Yeah, personal debt. Because I was sole trader, so there was no like company. It was just
Okay.
me. And then obviously just trying to like pay for things, and still do stuff. It was just it was a long time before any money really started to come. And then on the flip side of that, I found it really difficult when the work did start to come in, and it was really coming in. And you had like, it was a new business, so I had like no processes, no people to help me out. So it was just like work and work and work. And then it went from like, oh my God, I can't sleep at night because I've got no money and I've got to pay the rent next week.
Yeah, but I think when that happened, when you like working more and more,
Yeah.
you just like became less productive. You're doing you thinking you work more, but you're actually doing less.
Yeah, I think so. And that because then you're not productive at all.
You're
But-
making wrong decisions. You like your quality of work is like
Low.
dropping.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think like work more. That's like worse. You can. It's like everyone's saying like you should work
Yeah.
more, you should work harder, but this is not really working, because it's like if you work on construction, then like and you work by hours, that can work. But if you work harder in creative agency, this is little different.
I think so. I think if you're doing a lot of the creative work and you're really tired, you're going to really struggle. And there are definitely times, because I still do a lot of the work, there are definitely times where, when I'm super tired, because I sort of work normally like 12 hours a day. And you find when I like to go on like mini holidays, like every sort of couple of months, just kind of run away for like a long weekend. And that's like how I manage it. But I think for like the general kind of business admin and stuff like that, like you don't really need to be creative to solve it in some ways, because it's just like, let me send emails, let me, check stats.
I think it's the right
for the
way
creative stuff.
to just like switch on
hard.
something else. Like
Yeah.
if you can, because I understand like when you need to write a script or you need to make an idea,
Yeah.
like you can like force it to make yourself, but then
Yeah.
you'll be like kind of drained.
Yeah.
It's easier sometimes to just do other work, to like boring one, and then come
Yeah.
back to it when you have a mood. I have no computers at home.
Yeah.
I have all the devices are at work in office. So that's how the way like I'm separate my like personal life from the work life, because it's like when I'm home, even like if I will get thoughts like from my client, like, oh, can you fix it now? I like, no, I'm sorry. I would love to, but I can't.
Now, for me, I think I like to work like at home too. So, so I come to the office now. So recently, it was actually a really big change. Because I used to come into the office like 8:30, maximum 9, but kind of 8:30 every day. But I'm like not a morning person at all. Like I sleep terribly. I need that time in the morning. I was on an agency growth like bunch of like seminars, workshops, and then I said to the guys, I was like, guys, how do you manage your day? Because like, you know, I'm starting work at 8:30 and I'm finishing at 10 at night, and it's every day, and I can't do it. And they're like, why don't you just like stay in bed longer and come to the office at like 9:30?
Do you miss pizza delivery days?
Do I miss it? No. I really enjoy. Well, no, I don't enjoy. I sometimes enjoy it, like what I'm doing now, but I don't want to not do it. It's not like when you're working from, well, yeah, now it's like 9:30, so I come in later, so I'm like more fresh, like I have more energy.
Do you have like some story from your work, like when client don't like your work, like when you just make something website and they just tell you like, no, it's shit. What you do if it's some
yeah, because the sort of process and the way it works is, you know, we traditionally work on sort of projects for, you know, not startup businesses, but businesses that have been kind of growing. So like between 2 and 5 years old, started growing quite a lot, but realized that, you know, their website's shit, their brand's shit, and they actually, like, none of it kind of sits with where they are now or where they want to be now that they understand who their ideal customers are. So I don't really have anyone get to the end and say they don't like something. But what I do have a lot of is, you know, you'll finish a website, like a full draft, and then you'll be like, give me some feedback, and it just takes ages, and you're like, come on, because you want to finish the project. And a lot of our payment terms are obviously negotiable, and it depends what client, how big, how much, but our kind of standard payment terms for websites are you pay 50% up front, then like 30% when we send you the draft, and then 20% when it goes live. But we're waiting so long for that last 20% because just feedback like, just takes so long.
Just like we are waiting till they finish.
Yeah.
Okay, there was any funny situation with your clients?
No, we don't have fun.
Yeah, that's what I realize.
No, not really. No.
Good answer.
No, we don't have fun. We just work.
Okay. What good advice you can give to somebody who want to start the business in creative industry, doesn't matter what, and they have like just finished the uni and or not even went to uni?
Don't spend unnecessary money. So like, don't buy a new laptop when you've got a laptop if it works. Like, don't get an office straight away. Go find some clients first. Be careful with subscriptions. I think so, you know, just generally watching the bank accounts, one. I think the second would be to try and like make friends and meet people, because like we kind of spoke about earlier, you know, running your own business, especially when you start, is a really lonely place. And I think that, you know, especially if we're looking at university ages, like their parents will want them to get a normal job probably, unless they're entrepreneurs. But then maybe even if they are, like they know what the risks are like, so they don't want that for their kids. So try and make friends so you can kind of share ideas and generally like feel a lot less lonely. Another would be, you know, when you started the business, just be really careful with staff, because staff for a new business are like a huge cost and a huge regular cost. Consider freelancers, especially, you know, if we're talking creative, then definitely consider freelancers straight away as a way to grow your team and, you know, your range of services like instantly with zero commitment and zero expenses. Don't go on Edgar's podcast. That'd be number 4. And don't work on a farm.
Where's
I
the
give 3
advice
good ones.
about the pizza?
About the pizza. Yeah, eat
Mate.
pizza. Get a body like me. You know, I'm like 26 and I have the body of a 44-year-old.
I'm opposite.
Yeah.
I'm 44 and have body of 36-year-old. Yeah.
What about you? What do you think? Don't start a business in Russia.
No, they probably don't be afraid to fail, because probably when you start your own business, you're gonna be fail. So don't afraid that. That's happened. That's fine. Just like regroup, kinda, like think what you done wrong and start over again. Nothing wrong with this. Be like respectful to your client. Don't think like you're smarter than them, because obviously they're bigger than you. For if you work in business to business segment, they build up the company, and even if you think they don't know what they're doing, they probably know what they're doing and you probably don't. That's the fight is your own arrogance.
Yeah.
Same when you have a team, don't forget that like most of the projects and stuff, it's not like only not only you do it. It's like all team was working on it. So it's like the group success. Same probably with cash flow. Be careful with it. Don't get any expenses, especially like with equipment. For most of the creative business, equipment doesn't matter. Like camera doesn't matter, lenses doesn't matter. You can start with something simpler.
I think I would add to the first point you said about, don't be scared to fail. I think it's also really important to, constantly think, do you need to change? Because I think it was changing services and changing the way we structured our services that saved the business, because everything was retainer to start with. That's what I was trying to sell. It didn't work. So it's like, let's move to a mix, but let's try and push the one-off services, the project work, the websites, we'll rebrand the business then, you go and use it yourself. It was those things, but I think also you need to kind of know when to run away. Don't like do what I nearly did, which was, kind of just run yourself into debt. And
At some
change.
point, I think you just need to stop. It's like, just stop. Like, close the company, close everything, find job, pay the debts, start over again. Like, this is like how it works. Don't think like you need, because it will be like same like with casino. It's like you're losing and you just
keep going.
Getting more.
Yeah.
Think like, oh, I'm gonna win now. Why you just now lose? Yeah, you might.
You should go to a casino.
You definitely need some luck in it. There's not only skills. There's not only like the field what you choose. You definitely need some luck. Meet some right people. It just can happen randomly and can not even happen at all.
Yeah.
Can just sometimes everything is right. Everything like what you're doing is right. You have a nice brand. You have a nice services. You have a nice prices, but just things not going.
Yeah.
And I think it's happened, and maybe wrong time. Maybe like stop and try again after. And
Yeah, I think so. Shall we wrap up today's podcast then before we're talking for another 3 hours?
That's already enough.
I enjoyed it. This was the best thing I've done all afternoon after 2 p.m.
Yeah, this one was more like introduction and just to talk about who we are and just try it out, because it's the first podcast we done ever. Even I like as a video production, first time done it. So we will take a look what it's gonna be, and subscribe to our channel, put likes, thumbnails, ding dong the bell.
Please make that an audio clip. Just ding dong the bell.
Yeah.
Can you send me that? I'll use that as a ringtone.
Yeah, and we'll see you, I hope, next week. 5 favorite food. Tell faster.
Pizza, 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 pizza.
Nice.